What's good, y'all? Trippy here. Cody Garbrandt has a tough fight ahead of him, but it is a fight he absolutely needs because in this fight this Saturday, we are going to learn a lot about Cody Garbrandt. Because tough matchups or not, a champion is supposed to overcome it all. After seeing Cody Garbrandt fight guys like TJ Dillashaw and Dominic Cruz, it made me realize that his style has a minor weakness against technical strikers who can match him with power. I definitely think that he hits harder than both Dominic Cruz and TJ Dillashaw, but they were both superior in the technical aspect of the fight. But I believe Cody Garbrandt had Dominic Cruz's number, but TJ Dillashaw's higher fight IQ and technicality was more than enough to overcome Cody twice. I thought in my head at the time that it was just a major setback, but real champions will come back from it. And I expected that from Cody Garbrandt. But then he fights Pedro Munoz. A fight that was a favorable matchup for his style. I just thought, And then he got KO'd in the most ridiculous way. Cody Garbrandt did not lose to a lack of skill that night. But at the time, I did not think that. I thought maybe this guy isn't as good as I thought he was. And he was overhyped after what he did to Dominic Cruz. And then once again, I had to come back and rewatch all of his fights. Then I realized something. Cody Garbrandt lost his fight to Pedro Munoz for the same reason he lost to TJ Dillashaw twice. And it's not because of a lack of skill. It was because it was a lack of self-control. Cody Garbrandt in interviews always used to say, it's me versus him. It's me versus myself in there. And he couldn't be more right. Because I picked Cody Garbrandt to win all three of his losses. And after seeing what Frankie Edgar did to Pedro Munoz, I thought to myself, there is no way that a focused Cody Garbrandt who has worked on his self-control would lose to a guy like Pedro Munoz. No disrespect to Pedro Munoz, but he got outstruck by Frankie Edgar. I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, Frankie can strike, yeah. But he is no Cody Garbrandt when it comes to power, speed, and striking skill. This is why nobody can reliably pick on Cody Garbrandt to win a fight, because they can't place bets on him. Because they just don't know what they're going to get. Cody then fought Rafael Assunção and outclassed him. Rafael honestly had no business being in there with Cody, but it showed, boy. It showed. The most major thing was the speed disadvantage. Rewatching the fight multiple times, he seriously had no chance at that state in his career. Now, everybody is on the Cody Garbrandt hype train, but the hardcore fans know what I'm talking about when I say we have doubts. When we try to place bets on Cody Garbrandt, we realize that, yes, Cody Garbrandt looked amazing when he fought Rafael Assunção. He looked like a champion. But what you guys have to realize is that he was not tested in that fight. He wasn't hit with a big shot. He wasn't getting outpointed or put in any danger. But people are like, he is back and better than ever. But the truth is that Cody was never lacking skill. He was lacking something that can't be trained, and that is mental self-control. That is something that he needs to work on himself with maybe a mental coach. He is with Mark Henry, and he did have a problem with keeping his hands low in exchanges, which got him caught every single time, a defensive error, and not moving his head when he would throw a strike. That's all defense. And that's all fine and dandy. But Cody is a guy, when he's on and everything is going according to plan, he looks invincible. But he's fighting Rob Font, a guy who has a 6-inch reach advantage and has outstanding boxing. What happens when Cody Garbrandt gets hit in this fight and he gets hit with a big shot or can't cover the distance and keeps eating jabs all day long? What about his chin? What about all this? Can he take a big shot when he gets hit with one? People are saying Cody Garbrandt is back because what he did to his last opponent, but he didn't get tested once. Are you starting to see some of the problems here? This is a fight that is going to tell us a lot about both gentlemen, but especially Cody, because he is the one that is dominating the headlines right now, which I expect because nobody knows who the hell Rob Font is. But the way I see this fight going is that early on, we're going to see who the faster, more crisp fighter is in there. And I believe that will be Cody Garbrandt. And I believe early, things are going to start going good for him. But once he gets hit, which will happen if the fight lasts longer than 2 minutes, what is going to happen? What is he going to do? My gut is telling me that it might not go too well for him. And that same bug that bit him in his 3 losses might come back to bite him again. But he could wake up from it. But he doesn't want to be too hurt in front of Rob Font. I just have a feeling that he's going to have a trouble with a guy with that long of a reach. But I also have a feeling that Rob Font is going to have trouble with a guy that has the speed of Cody Garbrandt. Both guys have never fought with anyone that is similar to their opponents that they're facing on Saturday, who has a long reach and very sharp boxing versus a guy who is much faster and slicker on the feet. This fight will tell you a lot, but I don't think that it will go to a decision. But if it does, I'm definitely taking Cody. But if it doesn't, I feel like Cody can knock out Rob Font, but Rob can do the same thing to Garbrandt. We will just have to wait and see. But right now, I'm going with Cody. I'm going to go with a decision, a dominant decision, or a second round knockout. But I am not confident. But I want to know what you guys think, so please comment down y'all's opinions in the comment section. Just don't be a dick about it, okay? I have to say that every single time because you guys can be dicks at times. But I believe that you guys will, I don't know. But I just really want to know what you guys think. But, announcement. I have an announcement to make, so wait real quick. The podcast is dropping this Sunday. This Sunday, I am dropping the podcast 100%, and I promise. But I'm going to do it in a similar style that the Weasel kind of does his podcast, because it's a solo podcast, you guys. I got to work with what I got. So, starting today, after you watch this video, I want you guys to go follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Trippy the Trippy on Instagram. I want you guys to go follow my Instagram and then DM me questions, MMA related questions that you guys want me to answer in the podcast. I will start looking at them, but in order to have your question answered, you have to be following me on Instagram, because I will check. If you're not following me on Instagram, I won't read your comment, or I'll read it, I just won't reply. To know if you guys will have your questions answered in the podcast, I will screenshot and I will like your comment. That's how you know that your comment or your question will be read in the podcast. So, big news. And those of you who stayed to the end of the video, you guys will know. Go follow me on Instagram and DM me your questions, and they will get answered on the podcast. Unless I get like 1 million, then obviously I won't have enough time to get to them. But I will try to get to every single one. Every Sunday, dropping a podcast. This Sunday, first podcast. But it's been your boy Trippy, and I'm out, man. Very important. Go do that. And I'm out, man.